Albert with Lindbrook TV, and here we are with Look What You Can Do. And this week we are with a la carte, and I've been dying to show you all the things that you can do. So come on over with me into the kitchen. But I know you all are busy and you are trying to make dinner that is both nutritious and quick at the same time. So what I'm going to do for you today is a sheet pan dinner. They've become really, really popular. So you really don't need many ingredients at all. We're going to do a very basic one, and then we'll talk about how you can personalize it on your own. There's a million things that you can do. What I've done is I've cut these little potatoes up here, and this is the first step. So we have two steps with this, and you'll have plenty of things to do you'll have plenty of time in between to do things because it's so simple. So we've just quartered them. What you want to do is get them all about the same size, not exactly, but about the same size. And we're going to put some salt and some pepper on them, and then just toss them around. And then you're going to put them on a sheet pan. I did spray this sheet pan a little bit with a cooking spray. You can do that, or probably the olive oil that's right on these potatoes might be enough. I'm using a dark sheet pan. A dark sheet pan, typically when you use them, you have to lower your oven temperature 25 degrees. So I'm going to use a convection oven, which is going to be a little bit hotter. And I'm going to use the dark sheet pans, and I'm still going to turn the oven on 425. So you want a nice hot oven. I'm turning a cut side down for the first part of this, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven. I'm going to put it in the lower third of the oven, and you always want to put your pans kind of where you're not pushed up against the back or pushed up against the front. You want the air to come all the way around. So we're going to set the timer, and we're going to wait for 18 minutes. Okay, now while we're doing that, all we have to do is finish cutting our broccoli. We're going to use the same bowl. The idea of this is not to have too many dishes at the end, because that's the worst part of cooking. That's what everyone tells me. So we're going to be cutting our broccoli. And again, we're looking for pieces that are similar in size. You see some of them are a little bit bigger. We might cut them like that, so you get an even heat. Always when you're cooking, you want to keep things a similar size so that you have that even cooking going on. Otherwise, some things are going to be cooked and some things are not going to be cooked. And that's when life gets confusing. I even use the stems. I can throw those in. Now this particular dinner, you could say if you don't want potatoes, you could put carrots in on the first stage, because they're going to cook in about the same amount of time. So this, again, we're going to put some olive oil, salt, and pepper. You can cook almost everything with olive oil, salt, and pepper. Okay, and then we're just going to toss it around. Now, if you want to just make broccoli, you could just do broccoli on a sheet pan, about 15 minutes in a hot oven, 425 oven, and it's amazing. You get a little crispiness on the tips of it, and it's amazing. But this broccoli is ready to go. Over here, we're going to use all the same pan. Now, this I removed and put into a Tupperware, but you can actually use the same pan to oil your salmon. The salmon is going to go in at the same time that the broccoli goes in. I had the fishmonger cut the salmon into pieces. These are about 5 ounces each, I would say, these pieces. And that's plenty for a hungry family of 4, for sure. So maybe if you have a couple of kids or 3 kids, you might have plenty. I know my grandkids usually would share something like that because they're small kids. Okay, so this is all ready. And now we're just going to wait in the meantime, we can do one other thing. This is some way to personalize it. What we're going to take is a little rosemary. I just happen to have this growing in my yard. So we're going to take a little rosemary. You never use the woody stems of this, so you're going to take off some of the leaves, and we're going to chop it a little bit. Don't have to chop it too finely, but we're just going to get it a little bit smaller. That also releases the flavor of it when you chop it a bit. So that's going to be standing by. That I'm going to throw over the potatoes. Once we open the oven, we'll throw the rosemary over the potatoes, toss that around, and then we'll make room for our broccoli and our salmon. Okay, we're back, and our potatoes are almost finished. They have a little more cooking to do, but what we're going to do, we're going to take this out, and this is the fun part. This is where we get everything else cooked. Then we're going to take a spatula, and we're just going to flip these a little bit. You can actually even use the dough scraper. That's actually helpful too. It's got a nice edge to it. And see how those are nice and browned around the sides? So perfect. This is just what we're looking for. Now I'm just going to make room for that salmon and that broccoli. I'm going to sprinkle a little rosemary. Now this is my personalizing part. I love rosemary on potatoes, so I'm going to do that. You don't even have to do that. They're delicious with just olive oil, salt, and pepper. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to take our salmon. Sometimes if it's real thin on the bottom, you can tuck it under. That helps it to cook more evenly. These seem to be pretty nice all the way. I'm going to put the salmon here. And then we're going to take the broccoli. I'm going to toss it all around. Kind of nestle it in with the potatoes. And again, you can vary these vegetables. If your family doesn't love broccoli, which they should because it's really good for them, you can do some other vegetables, anything that you like. Just depending on how heavy it is. If it's a carrot, that's going to take longer to cook. So you just adjust it according to what vegetables you've chosen. And then that's it. And it's going to go back in the oven now. And again, I'm putting it in the lower third of the oven. And that's going to be about, well, that's beautiful, isn't it? And that's going to be about 12 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer. Okay. So this is 12 minutes. 15 if you want your salmon a little more cooked. But I kind of like it so it's, yeah, this feels right. This feels good to me. You can kind of tell most meats, you can tell by just touching them how they are. So what I would do, the skin is on here, so you can actually let the skin stay on the pan if you want, or bring it with you. Some people like the skin. Okay, and then you put your plate. I would recommend not putting these things in serving dishes, simply because the idea here is not to have any dishes when you're all finished. So we're going to get a spoon. And we're just going to serve the potatoes with the broccoli. And again, you can do any vegetables or any potatoes like this simply by themselves on a sheet pan like this. But this way you have your entire meal all together with only one pan to wash. While that was in the oven, I washed my bowl and cutting board. So there's your meal. And this is Polly Talbot with Lindbergh TV. Look what you can do.